we're going to get started here. My name is Nanette Jackson. I'm the COO for Virtual World Arcade, and we've got this panel. Our panel is VR tech that differentiates your VR LBE business. And we've got Brandon here with Talon Simulations, and we William Kavancher with Tactical Haptics. So we're going to get started by some brief introductions. So we'll start with William.
Thanks. So thanks for having me here to talk about what we're doing. Tactical Haptics started, say, 5-6 years ago, and it's born out of research from my university lab where we discovered a magical way to be able to make game controllers feel like they're applying external forces, even though they're just applying little frictional forces within your hands, and create this wonderful tactile illusion or haptic illusion, and restore your sense of touch to VR. So just to not just see your hands move in VR, but to actually feel visceral interactions like elasticity, inertia, things just to restore what it feels like if you're actually interacting in the real world. That's kind of the foundation of where we started, and we spent a lot of time kind of perfecting the hardware and the software over the last several years.
Great, thanks, William. And let's have Brandon, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. I'm Brandon Nates, CEO of Talon Simulations. We started the company about 6 years ago, inspired by the latest generation of the Oculus Rift, and built a flight simulator as part of our mechanical engineering senior project at the University of Central Florida. And being in Orlando, being such a big hub for military and the amusement industry, we got a lot of great feedback from local industry and the university faculty that we spun off into a company that ended up not only specializing in training simulators, but entertainment simulators as well. We helped alongside a bunch of partner companies on the Dave & Buster's 4-seat Jurassic World simulators, which now offer a variety of different experiences. And we're in charge of technical support and hardware software integration, which applies to our business model on a general basis for our off-the-shelf products, where we'll work with each customer and understand their needs, and we'll put together a compact full motion simulator for them, integrating with virtual reality headsets and other haptic devices, including force feedback controllers and hand tracking gloves as well. So thank you all for having me, and look forward to our discussion.
Thanks, Brandon. So next question, I think some of you already touched upon this. So I wanted to know, what is unique about your product or solution, and how does this enhance a user's experience? Let's go back with William.
Yeah, so as I said, we've kind of discovered this magical way to create these haptic illusions with a motion controller. So imagine any of the motion controllers that you currently use in VR, and you can get vibration from them. So it's great for transient events, and it's fine for textures. What do you do if you're playing a virtual tug of war with somebody? What do you do if you're trying to do VR simulation of a medical procedure and the contact pressure or feeling of piercing matters? Well, what we're doing is we're giving you the same type of friction information that you normally have if you're using a tool, but because you're used to experiencing these friction forces in combination with external forces, if we measure how your hands move, or how when you move your hands, because you're holding a motion controller, and that's kind of part of a commercial VR system now, and we apply these friction forces in response, since your brain is used to integrating this information together with the perception of external force, especially because you're in a VR environment, it just perceives this as this kind of natural experience. And so it's a great way to be able to give physical feedback in a package that is already the dominant standard package in terms of having motion controllers in your hands and to be able to restore the sense of touch for people. And the thing I'll say is that a lot of what we've kind of figured out is a number of different ways to package this. Most recently, we've put this into the form of something that looks more like a lightsaber, but in the past, I've also done some modular controllers so that people could reconfigure the controllers themselves, attach them together in different ways to, for instance, form steering wheels or form a virtual machine gun on the fly, and then go back to a dual wield scenario like you're used to with independent game controllers. And so we now have those two as standard products. But just as Brandon was saying, we also have started working with people on if they want to do customizations and do something a little bit different or package things a little bit different. We've also started talking with people about customizing the designs further than what we already can accommodate.
So William, are they pretty lightweight? Like when you add another part to it, it's still it's balanced and weight wise when you're using it?
Yeah, so the controllers are about a pound. I wish I had a picture of modular and cylindrical controllers, but they're basically the same components. The cylindrical controller actually puts the vibe tracker or the hoop of the Oculus Touch controller around it's almost kind of like a donut around the end of the cylindrical controller. So if you go down to the press release in the announcements section, left side, there's words that'll say press release. There you go. That's the cylindrical controller. If you scroll down a little bit more, it'll show you kind of the packaging. Down a little bit more. That's a different project. There you go. You can see how there you go. You can see how we've packaged in the tracking element. So in the case of Vive systems, it's a Vive tracker. And to answer your question, it remains pretty balanced because we've gone in ahead of time knowing that we'll be using an Oculus or a HTC-based tracker along with our controller and have designed it to be reasonably balanced.
Great, thanks, William.
Thank you.
And same question to you, Brandon. What is unique about your product or solution to enhance the user's experience?
Yes, thank you. So we definitely set ourselves apart by offering premium, durable, reliable platforms that are compact, that offer the maximum revenue per square foot for locations, which is a very good value proposition for both location-based entertainment centers and training institutes, high throughput environments that can withstand a lot of use and abuse, as well as making sure that it's something that you can't get at home. Obviously, being at a VR arcade conference, that's what this business model is all about, is being able to provide an experience that people will pay for outside of their home. And we do that by synchronizing precise motion platforms with various experiences. And with our newest product, it's Talon Vortex, we launched last November at the IAAPA Amusement Expo, being a standalone arcade cabinet that can be operated completely unattended. Swipe your card, put on the VR headset, and you're able to select between a variety of experiences, including race cars, roller coasters. There's a flight simulator and a turret shooter. And replayability is a big aspect of what we strive for as well. So you can not only get to play one game and try to beat someone's high score, but you can go on, try another game. They're also able to be networked together so you can compete against your friends. And so interactivity is a big aspect of what we try to make sure we do, rather than doing like a passive ride experience, which we have done plenty of times as well, like with our roller coasters, and try to offer something for the whole family, because some might find the racing simulator a little bit too intense, and laid back roller coaster would be a better option. So as far as providing the solutions that provide high replayability in a small footprint. And that also doesn't need a lot of maintenance or support. Really sets us apart. And when there is any issues that might occur, then they're able to call us, and we're able to offer remote support and log in and fix whatever needs to be resolved in a short period of time, reducing any downtime. So we try to have the most robust and reliable products and prompt technical support, and we're very flexible in basically all of our products that can be customized for each location as far as what experiences will be offered. We can create custom content, marketing specific brands for activations or for your locations. And so having like modular tools and as far as our backend architecture goes with SDKs to really allow us to have that freedom to specialize in both entertainment and training applications, as well as just being able to be agnostic in the different virtual reality headsets. So sometimes the Vive Pro might work better for a customer, or Oculus Quest, or now that we're getting into some really high-end VR systems, there's the Vario, and we're able to offer whatever platform suits each location and their needs the best.
Thanks, Brandon. So your target market is mainly family entertainment centers, or more than that?
Yeah, so we've mostly worked with family entertainment centers with plenty of arcades, specifically VR arcades as well, that have been popping up over the years. We'll work with malls, hotels, museums, and as well as I kind of mentioned marketing activations. We work with a lot of digital media companies that will customize our products for brands to showcase new products and concepts at trade shows or at demo rooms in their headquarters, and professional training institutes as well. So a lot of location-based and facilities, whether it's entertainment, marketing, or training.
Thank you. So back to William, who are your target or customers?
So we've worked with a variety of folks thus far. It's our main focus is B2B, and many times it's B2B2C, where it's anyone from VR system integrators, and it's usually been larger ones like we were working with Sandbox VR, and they're no longer, so kind of unfortunate due to all the COVID stuff. But our model tends to be to work with these larger organizations that will deploy out into many places. Sometimes will have their own custom content, but we've also more recently developed, let's say, a plugin or driver that allows us to take Steam VR games. We've done it with several of them at this point, like Pistol Whip and Space Pirate Trainer and Arizona Sunshine, and use just those native games without further support to drive our controllers. So that will probably open up more opportunities for more LBE opportunities in the future where there wasn't base content unless our partners were making content. Now there's some base gameplay support, and since most of the LBE folks that we were talking to in the past tend to use Vive or Vive Pro, that's kind of where we wanted to focus there first. But we've talked to everybody from large system makers, kiosk makers for standalone VR. We've worked with agencies that do trade shows, and more recently we've actually started. This is part of our COVID pivot to work more with training folks. Everything from people doing training for construction, industrial, oil gas mining type stuff, to surgical, medical, physical therapy, that type of training. So we have a very broad range of customers, and we engage with them from anywhere between here's our controllers, self controllers, and have an SDK that we can support them with in Unreal and Unity, And in some cases, they may or may not have the internal resources, and we have some value-added developer support that we can do to either do the integration into their content, or in some cases, like especially on the training side, we're actually creating some of the first training interactions for them in VR as well. Pretty broad range of interaction or of customers, but mostly B2B at this point. And our next kind of scaling point for us will be to do a prosumer. We've been actually spending a lot of time working on turning some of our tech demos into more elaborate and developed experiences, and have done some things both in the sword fighting and in the fishing domain that we hope to kind of roll out.
Thanks, William. And following, since you did mention COVID-19, we were the talk prior to us was by Christine Lawton of Nolan Hyman, and she did highlight Sandbox VR as well as some other companies. And so one of the things I was wondering about is how has this impacted you in terms of supply chains and other relationships? I think we had talked earlier briefly about it, but I just wanted you to talk a little bit more about that, William.
Sure. Were you asking me? This is Will.
William, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Initially there was disruption in terms of supply chain for us. We have been getting some components from China, but the bigger issue for us with COVID has really been on the demand side. A lot of our partners, either projects are on hold or they've gone out of business. So for us, we had some supplies that got held up, but we had already stocked up on some of the long lead items, so there really wasn't a ton of impact for us in that regard. But if some of the projects that we were planning for had taken off, like we were gearing up to do, we would have had problems for sure. And it would have been a couple of long lead items that instead of taking a month or 2 months would have probably taken 4 or 5. And who knows if it would have interfered with our ability to fulfill the contract. But yeah, most of it's really been on the partner side, where projects just have gone on hold, either indefinitely or gotten canceled because people are just not placing bets right now on implementing new technologies.
Okay, thanks, William. Now, Brandon, how has COVID impacted your? I know some of these family entertainment businesses were closed, and they had to, a lot of shutdowns. So I was just wondering, how has this impacted your business and what have you had to do to pivot your business?
Yeah, so a lot of our upcoming projects did get suspended indefinitely or canceled, and at least one or two have come back around to be picked up. But unfortunately, we have a couple customers that went out of business and are looking to sell their used simulators, and that's really difficult for everyone involved. Especially the entertainment side of our business has been impacted really strongly. But we are definitely seeing, at least our locations that we work with, seeing some traffic pick up. There are some industry trends that are showing that we're coming back, and it's definitely been a difficult time, and it's really hard. And fortunately, we've always had really good relationships with our customers, and at this point, we just stepped up and are offering whatever we can, especially now with virtual reality in an entertainment center. There's already a stigma about hygiene, and fortunately, there's been all these initiatives in place already to help prevent the spread of diseases and bacteria and things like that. And so when this type of thing did pop up, these procedures were already in place. These best practices that the CDC are offering, we were already recommending. So the VR industry, especially with being location-based entertainment, we've had these standards. We've also had we have a safety task group for VR and AR for our, the ASTM subcommittee on amusement rides and devices for this is our third year. We actually just had our event this week, which is usually twice a year in a different city, but we did it virtual. And so we've been creating these standards for using VR safely in amusement locations. And not much has changed, but we do get input from Universal and Disney engineers and execs, and it's really interesting to learn because there's a lot of information out there, and particularly with UV, which is a widespread use now to help combat not only COVID but a lot of other bacteria, and there's safe ways to use it. So it's really great that we have companies like Cleanbox that are providing safe equipment for people to use, because UV is very dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous to bacteria and it's dangerous to humans. So educating staff is really important. And so that's really where we've taken some initiative, is just making sure the locations that are operating our equipment are doing so safely, effectively, and with standards that have kind of been around, but have to actually make sure that those operators are performing them in between every guest. And fortunately, we do sell to the training institutes and the military, which, being an election year, it's not the best market to be in either, but there definitely is some traction that we've had over the last few years, and we're working on small business innovation research grants, working on proposals for that. So there's other opportunities that there's a strong overlap between simulation and training and amusements, and so I do recommend that if you have that opportunity, it's always good to try to offer alternative markets. But we, and myself specifically, I've always dreamed of being a roller coaster engineer, and I moved to Orlando for college to be in the amusement industry, and so I've always been passionate about it. I worked at Universal before I started the company, and this is what I'm passionate about, and I think it's really important that we all step up and do what we can for the industry as a whole, because it does have the drive to rebound from bad economic disasters in the past, and I think it's been tested, but with everyone's help, we'll come back and it'll be bigger than ever.
Thanks, Brandon. And that's good to know that you have a hygiene and best practices in place already. That's so important. I don't have any other questions, but Will, do you have any other to add? Or
I mean, I'd be happy to take questions if anybody in the audience has them. But again, for us, it's just to restate where what we're doing, where we're focused. New type of touch feedback allows you to have greater physicality in VR, and we have done anything from VR arcade related stuff to training stuff. Our controllers could actually even be used with teleoperation systems. We actually started off doing an SBIR, like Brandon was for NASA, for doing teleoperation. So anything where you want to go and convey more physical information between a human interface, like a VR simulation or a telerobot, or anything in between, our technology can help you with. And like I said, we also are happy to help out on the simulation software development side to help take where we are to get to where we need it to be if we need that help.
and Will, you also have a booth at the expo area, right?
Yeah, we do. It's on the far side from here in the first row. You can see my contact information obviously over my head and there, and there's like a little testimonial video that they put up on the screen. I'll hang out there for a little bit after the talk here, in case anybody wants to ask further questions.
Great. So, and also, Brandon, you also have a booth out there.
Yes, I do. Yep, you can come visit, search, you'll see some promo on our Talon Vortex machine and learn more on our website about our simulator products and if it might be a good fit for you.
And do you have anything else that you wanted to add, Brandon?
Thank you all for joining. This is great. I'm on my Oculus Quest here, so this is the first time I'm really doing something like this in VR, actually in it. So this has been an awesome experience. Thank you all for having me and for putting this on.
Okay, well, thank you, Will and Brandon, for joining us.
Thank you.
Check out their booths. Thank you.
Thank you.